It has been a long time since I made stories with jurisprudence lessons. It has become irrelevant. This realization came on the day when my friend Dmitry, a super ura mega legally savvy, fair, honest and decent person with vast experience, just went to file a petition. I just went to file a petition, from where I returned 15 days later. He couldn't do anything. He could not oppose his knowledge of elementary lawlessness. What lessons of jurisprudence can we talk about? After that, my tongue does not turn. It is quite obvious that there are no laws in Belarus now. In the legal field, someone gave a shit. It should be noted that I used to have a low opinion about the mental abilities of some of the police officers. I was also aware of sadistic inclinations. But before that they were somehow embarrassed, tried not to stick out. And now they staged some kind of wild parade of dementia. 35 journalists were detained at Freedom Square. It is symbolic. Restricted in freedom in the Freedom Square. It is obvious to everyone that this is the most real detention, that is, an actual short-term restriction of freedom. It is unlikely that all these people wanted to ride a bus without numbers in the police department. After that, the press secretary of the Ministry of Internal Affairs Olga Kimodanova officially commented on this event. The journalists were brought in, not detained, to check the documents. This is bullshit at the level of a junior sergeant from patrol. And so the law establishes the sequence and separates these concepts. In order to check the documents, you must first suspect, only then can you restrict, that is, detain, and only then deliver and contain. Police officers have the right to deliver without registration of detention only in 2 cases. Persons without a fixed abode to provide them with social assistance and persons with signs of severe mental disorder, by their actions creating a danger to themselves and others. And in this place I would like to hear an additional comment from the press secretary of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. In what capacity were these journalists not detained, but delivered? Like homeless people or like psychos? Comrades journalists, do not allow this to be done. To you, clarify. Is this a requirement or a request? The request can be rejected, the request must be fulfilled. Any demand is a limitation of your rights. Ask for a detention report. This is a document confirming the fact of pressure on you. This will certainly come in handy later. Or, for example, there are girls at the church. Stand silently, calmly, peacefully. Some dumb guy clings to them. The administrative process has now begun against you. Your data is required to conduct the administrative process. Is that what he says? How did he start the process? If there are reasons and grounds, the administrative process is considered to have started from the moment of drawing up a protocol or administrative detention. In the meantime, in fact, he just fucked up to people and spews out some stupid phrases. You refuse to introduce yourself? What will happen to me if I do not introduce myself? You now refuse to introduce yourself? Can you tell me what will happen to me if I do not introduce myself? Under the current legislation, you are required to introduce yourself. Where did he get it from? When did you manage to come up with it? Or who taught him this? In my opinion, according to the current legislation, you were obliged to introduce yourself. And I have the right to ask what would happen to me if I understand, you refused. Oh, also deaf. They ask him what will happen and what are the consequences. He is obliged in each case of restriction of the rights and freedoms of citizens to explain the basis for the restriction and the rights and obligations arising in connection with this. I sincerely don't understand why it's funny to walk the streets and demonstrate to those around you your slow-wittedness. Girls, you are smart. For the future, I recommend, contact the police. Report that some disguised man walks around, scaring people, talking some nonsense and discrediting the authorities. I do not want to abuse your time, tomorrow we will talk about the game that is going on in the automotive theme.
Ёб твою мать, просишь, блядь. Но если человек родился дебилом, блядь, то ничего не помогает.